Why is it that the moment we commit to something meaningful, resistance shows up?
Because discipline doesn't challenge our body first, it challenges our identity.
We think that tapas means pushing harder.
But most of the time it's about staying present when the mind wants to escape.
So that resistance isn't failure.
It's the doorway.
And this is tapas. So I've practiced yoga consistently for about 10 years now. And I know that the most important part of building consistency and experiencing the true benefits of yoga is community. Other people to hold you accountable. And second to that is a solid practice plan. Simple, guided sequences that you can practice for a long period of time. Too often, we skip practice when no one's watching. And when we do find the courage to show up, we find picking a random class on the internet feels completely overwhelming. And this is exactly why I created the OMSOM app. It's a free study tool to learn the Sanskrit and philosophy of yoga. Plus, it's home to the Sadhana Sangha, which is our online community. Within that community, you won't only find daily challenges to keep you accountable to showing up every single day, but every single month, me and the team will give you 5 practices. We'll take you through an Asana workshop, a subtle technique workshop, and we'll break down a few lines of the Yoga Sutra together. It's honestly been my dream to create this app for so long now, ever since I started teaching, because this is what I truly needed when I started practicing yoga. Check it out in the show notes, or just search OMSOM on the App Store. That's OMSOM. Anyway, back to the episode. Welcome to the OMSOM Yoga and Ayurveda podcast. My name is Aaron Petty. I'm a yoga therapist and a teacher trainer.
And my name is Lina, and I'm a yoga teacher and a forest-dwelling fairy.
And in this week's episode, we are exploring tapas, which is the yogic principle of perseverance and discipline and sustained effort that builds inner heat. And so this is kind of tying into our theme in March, which is the exploration of Agni, the fire element. So we're kind of shifting from our physical and our pranic exploration into a little bit more of a mental idea. And so we're landing with this idea of tapas. So shall we start with the story?
Yes.
We love stories. All right. So this story, it comes from the Mahabharata. Do you know what the Mahabharata is?
Yeah.
It's where the Bhagavad Gita comes from. And the Bhagavad Gita is just one book in this Mahabharata, which is all of the stories of India. And so in this story, in the Mahabharata, there is this situation where we have Krishna and Arjuna and Agni, who is the fire god. And so what's happened is there's a forest, and it's called the Ila forests. It's called the Khandava forest. Maybe you should go there one day. So there's been a lot of like fire rituals, yajnas happening, lots of different prayers, and Agni is the container of these prayers. And so I don't know if you guys have ever been to a fire ceremony, but what you'll have is a fire they call it a kund, in a pit, and then we're chanting mantras and we're throwing things into the fire as an offering. And so too many of these offerings have been happening, and Agni says, like, I'm exhausted, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I need to consume something. I need to feed myself. And he sets his sights on the Khandava forest. He says, I need to eat this forest. And so what happens is every time Agni comes to the forest and he tries to burn the forest, the god of the rain comes and he showers rain down on Agni and he puts out the fires in the forest.
Thank goodness.
Indra comes and he starts putting out these rains to extinguish the forest. And Agni kind of gets a bit like pissed off. He's like, I'm hungry. Like, imagine you, like, every time you go and try to eat your dinner and I'm just like tipping water on it. So Agni gets a bit like frustrated at this. And so he calls on Arjuna and Krishna and he says, like, can you guys come and help me? I need to eat this forest. And it's really interesting because it's kind of like, it's almost seen as a kind of a dark story. Because do you know what Krishna and Arjuna do? They circle the forest and Arjuna draws his bow. And any of the creatures that try to escape the fire, they point their arrows at them and they say, no, you're not allowed out of the forest until Agni has burned this entire thing.
Oh.
So Krishna's there for the clarity and the protection. And Arjuna has his bow drawn and he's focused on anything that's trying to escape the forest, and they keep everything inside until Agni can burn this forest entirely and consume all of its inhabitants.
Oh.
But this is not chaos, right? This is the natural order of things. And so the teaching here is that they are actually just upholding the Dharma. And the Dharma is that the fire is meant to consume this forest. And it is not just chaotically destroying the forest, but it is transforming the forest through containment to allow new life to flourish. This is the deeper meaning of tapas, right? When Agni is uncontained, it's uncontrollable and it burns everything. But when Agni is contained by Krishna, which is in this case consciousness, and Arjuna, which is in this case attention, then that Agni can create a transformation within us. And I don't know, I just love these stories because they actually provide us so much deeper meaning. And what seems like when you read the story, it's just like Agni was hungry, Krishna and Arjuna came and they hold all the forest people captive so that Agni can eat them. And then the story just finishes. But like everything in yoga, there's always a deeper teaching. And so this is the teaching on tapas. It's like the teaching on fire as a tool for refinement, right? And we could take this even one step further. And we could look at if you want to, you've got some nice earrings on there. Yeah, they're made of precious metals.
Yes.
Maybe they're copper or something like that. And so if you want to refine a piece of metal, where do you find metals? You find them in the ground, right? If you pulled metal out of the ground, you'd look at it and you say that's a rock.
Yeah.
It's not a rock though.
Yeah.
Rocks are made of metals.
Yeah.
And so what happens? The person who wants to create the jewelry, they're going to take that rock and they're going to put it in the furnace. And what's a furnace? It's fire contained in a very, very small place so that it can become a transformer. Yeah. So you take that rock, you put it in the furnace, and it melts away all the impurities so that what's left is the pure form of that metal in a liquid form. And then once that metal is in a liquid form, it gets poured into the mold, or it gets beaten, it gets shaped into the piece of jewelry. That rock becomes something precious, right? And so it's the containment of Agni that allows the transformation to happen, that removes the impurities and leaves only what remains, which is something that's transformed. That's tapas.
I love that.
Yeah. All right. So let's do a little bit of a translation then. What does tapas mean?
It's heat.
It's heat. Yeah, exactly. So that root is tapa, and tapa means heat. And so the way I always describe it is rub your hands together. Do it with me.
I love this practice.
Rubby, rubby, rub, 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 rub. And the more you rub, what does it build?
Heat.
It builds heat in the hands, right? And so tapas is it's the friction that creates the warmth. Yeah. And so it's there is no transformation without that warmth. So tapas is the heat, it's the warmth, it's the burning, it's the fire that creates the transformation. Yeah. So I think for a lot of us, it's we think of tapas as self-denial. It's you have to do the. Commonly, it gets translated to austerities. And in the classical context, that's very true. The classical yogis, the one that comes to mind is that guy who put his hand up in the air.
Yes.
And it was hand up in the air. That was his tapas for his lifetime. And it was his hand goes black and his fingernails all grow out and his arms just kind of stuck there.
Yeah.
That's the old school view of tapas. We don't have to do that. Tapas doesn't have to be that. It can be that. But it's tapas is the heat generated by meeting difficulty, meeting our struggles and meeting them with acceptance, right? It's we're so conditioned to be afraid of fire. And it's oh no, don't touch that, it'll burn you, sort of thing. But at the same time, it's you use fire to cook your breakfast. You use it to make your tea. You use it to warm up the room when it's too cold for you. It's we use it. But what we don't understand about fire is that it is only really transformative when it's contained.
Yeah.
And so tapas is that containment within our resistance, within our difficulty. So what does this mean for us then in our yoga context? It's just this idea that like resistance is part of it. Right? You start practicing yoga, and at some point you're going to find resistance. You're going to not want to come to the studio. You're going to be like, oh, it's so nice. It's so nice and warm and cozy in my bed. I don't want to show up. You told me that the other day. You didn't come to my morning class.
Sorry.
And so it's like we're always going to meet resistance in our practice. We're always going to meet resistance in life. Actually, we can't move forward in life without that resistance. It's like holding the tension between who you could become and who you are.
Yeah.
And knowing that the person that you want to be cannot be that person if you continue to act the way that you're acting.
Sure.
It's like if you continue just doing the same actions, you're going to get the same results.
Yes.
We have to do new actions if we want new results. And sometimes that like that process of moving into new types of actions, becoming a new kind of person is uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's friction.
Yeah, because our whole identity is what we do and who we are. And so it's like, yeah, that friction is natural to us. And so tapas, the teachings on tapas are really all around how do we meet friction with grace? How do we embrace that resistance and friction, lean into the resistance and friction so that we can move through it to create the fire? It kind of like another analogy is like when you strike a match.
Yeah.
It's like if you're trying to light a match on a smooth surface, it will never light, right? Yeah. But the edge of the matchbox is the lighting mechanism because it's a rough surface.
Rough, yeah.
And it's like that roughness that creates the friction, that creates the sparks, that then turns the fire on. So it's that without friction, there is no fire. I don't know. It feels nice for me.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, we have this, I don't want to call it a disease, but it's an unhelpful idea in yoga where like it's meant to be love and light. And it's meant to feel good all the time. And like yoga should feel nice and we should relax and we should feel happy. But it's like, actually, no, that's not yoga.
No.
That's bypassing.
Yeah.
And so we actually need to find within ourselves this balance. Like it's not feel shitty all the time. It's not like throw yourself in the fire and be burnt.
Yeah.
We're not trying to cause pain or cause suffering to ourselves, but actually we're finding those points of stickiness and those points of resistance, and we're kind of just leaning into them, right? The pose that you like the least is the pose that you need the most.
Yeah.
So do the things that are difficult because it's that difficulty that creates a transformation that allows us to kind of move forwards and transform.
Yeah. I very often teach in the start of my class this opportunity to tune in to how you're feeling and noticing throughout the practice what variations that you need to take in your asana practice specifically, but noticing if they're coming from this attachment to contentment or attachment to familiarity, that if I'm tired, then maybe I should take an easier pose, but maybe the reason you're tired is because you're not moving enough and you're not challenging yourself enough in order to grow your capacity.
Yeah, and so it's like build that strength by doing the hard thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I think also like sometimes we get attached to doing the hard things, taking the harder options, and it's actually the resistance for you is taking the easier option.
Exactly.
The resistance for you is taking the rest. And so resistance always and tapas always isn't just doing things that are difficult, because sometimes the difficult thing
is slowing down.
Yeah, is slowing down, doing the easy thing.
Especially for the mind.
Yeah, especially for the mind. It's like, yeah, it's easy for us to be constantly thinking about things and doing things and even like challenging our thinking. And I think we sometimes can get addicted to like doing the work, where it's like I want to feel this kind of like mental panic because that's what growth is.
Yeah.
But actually that's it then becomes familiar. And so it's like the resistance then is, how do I find the stillness? How do I find the effortlessness in the mind? And it's like, yeah, it can go both of those ways, because sometimes the resistance is the mind to the physical difficulty.
Yes.
And so it's like we have to start to identify where that resistance arises for us. Is it mental? Is it physical? Is it energetic?
Sure.
Is it emotional resistance? Where is the resistance, and can we lean into the resistance? That's where the transformation happens. All right, so we're talking all about meeting this resistance. Let's see what the texts have to say. So in the Yoga Sutra, like tapas, it comes up quite a few times. It comes up in the yamas and the niyamas, but specifically it's in the niyamas. So first one is the first line of the second chapter. This is where tapas shows up first. And the Sanskrit is tapas svadhyaya ishvara pranidhanani kriya yogaha. You're a kriya yogi.
Don't put me on the spot like that.
No, but this is it's interesting, because so often we think of Kriya Yoga as like the Kriyas, the mental exercises, but in Patanjali's context, Kriya Yoga is something different. Kriya Yoga is, and when I say Kriya Yoga, I mean the yoga of action. Actions in yoga are defined by tapas, which is this meeting resistance, svadhyaya, self-study, and ishvara pranidhana, which is to surrender to a higher power. Those three things are the foundation of yoga in action. And so then it's like, this actually maybe has nothing to do with even yoga practice, the things we do on our mat, but it's like, this is the yoga of life, tapas, svadhyaya, ishvara pranidhana. But tapas is placed first in that sequence. Like tapas is the thing that comes first, because it's tapas that allows us to establish discipline. And if we don't have any discipline, there is no practice. Yeah. Right? It's we're just living, avoiding. Okay, second time it comes up is in the niyamas. Salcha, santosha, tapas, svadhyaya, ishvara pranidhanani, niyamaha. These are the niyamas. So what does niyama mean? It means not controlling. Yeah, it's the things that we're trying to cultivate in our life. And tapas is in this, right? So it's purity, contentment, tapas, self-study, and surrender to a higher power. These are the things we're trying to cultivate in yoga. And so tapas is layered in here as like one of the 5 fundamental things that we want to be cultivating for a yogic lifestyle. Okay. Now, the Bhagavad Gita is the next piece for us. In the Bhagavad Gita, in this verse, Krishna is talking about the mental disciplines. And he says, serenity of mind, gentleness, silence, and self-restraint are called the mental tapas. I think this is like, the reason I wanted to put this in is because it gives us a little bit of an extra layer on tapas. That like tapas is not just self-restraint, it's not just doing the hard things, but Krishna also says it's serenity of mind. Yeah. It's gentleness. It's silence. Those are also things that are difficult for us, right? Sure. Sometimes the difficult thing is to be silent. Sometimes the difficult thing is to be gentle, right? The mosquito is flying around, it lands on your skin, and the first thing you want to do is smack it. You little shit, get off me. But it's like that, the restraint is be gentle with the mosquito, like it's a living thing. We want life to flourish. And that it's like, this discipline is not just doing hard things. It's like the difficulty of being kind and being gentle and being still.
And that's the reflection on the mind when we sit down for meditation and all of these thoughts arise. Well, like the first initial reaction when you sit and you're like, I'm trying to meditate, is this frustration of like, why won't the thoughts go away? But actually, to bring in this gentleness and stillness and kindness to your mind will allow this process to be more sustainable.
Yeah, love that. All right, I want to give one last reference. It comes from the Upanishads. It comes from the Mandukya Upanishad, and it says, by tapas, seek to know Brahman. Brahman in this case is like the ultimate Godhead. It's the quality beyond all qualities, right? It's the oneness of the universe. And so it's like, if our goal here is to realize the truth of reality, if our goal here is to, through yoga, the experience, know the self as all things, that the only path toward that understanding is discipline. You have to be disciplined in your approach to yoga. You don't get the benefits of yoga, whatever they are for you, right? If you want to use yoga to calm your mind, if you want to use yoga to get more flexible, if you want to use yoga to feel good or heal some disease even, you don't get there by not doing yoga. I have this conversation with people all the time, and I'm really honest with people at the start of their path that, like, you can't just come to yoga once a week. Yeah. Like, you can if you want. Yeah. You might feel good once a week, but actually, if you want the result of yoga, like, I can tell you till the cows come home all of the reasons why you should practice yoga. And if that sounds appealing to you, right? If you want a calm mind, if you want a calm body, if you want to feel comfortable in yourself, if you want to be connected to your purpose, if you want to heal, you have to do the practice. That's it. There's no, it's not a quick fix. It's not a magic pill. It's not something where you pay the money and then you get the result. I can't give you the money and you give me the apple. It's like, you have to do the work. In the yoga context, you can't just pay money for the apple. You have to make the compost. You have to turn the compost into the soil. You have to plant the tree. You have to water the tree. You have to wait until the conditions are right. You have to wait till the right season, and then you have to harvest the apple, and only then can you taste the fruit. Tapas is the means through which we can know yoga. That was a really big explanation of 3 words.
It's perfect.
All right. So what does this look like practically for us? Like, if we're talking about you in your yoga practice, on your mat, on your meditation cushion, where are we at? What are we looking at?
I think staying with the discomfort is something important, like, rather than it feels really uncomfortable to sit with the feelings or the emotions that are arising. Let me just go have a drink of my water or fidget around. No, like, what does that actually feel like in your body, and where are you meeting that resistance?
Yeah, 100%. It's just staying with it. Like, it's yoga is inevitably going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you have to learn to just be with that and find, we always call it comfort in discomfort.
Yeah, for sure.
Find the comfort in the discomfort. And let that be the foundation that your practice grows from. And then it's like, show up even when that motivation goes away. Like, when because it's like, when you start yoga and you're excited about yoga, you're listening to our podcast, you're like, I feel so inspired, I'm going to go and do my practice now. But ultimately, like, that motivation's going to go away one day. One day you're just going to listen to this podcast, you're going to say, Aaron just says the same stuff over and over, it's not even inspiring me anymore. Like, why should I do my practice? And that's the point where you have to maintain your consistency. You just have to keep showing up. Sometimes, most of the time, I'm not like pumped to go and do my practice, but it's like, it's the consistency that I've maintained over the last 10 years that helps me to keep going.
It's like building blocks.
Yeah. And once you start moving, it's like that movement just, it carries you. Yeah. You start the motion and then you can just sit in it. Okay. so then it's what you said. It's just allowing that resistance to be something that you observe, not something that you avoid. It's and you don't even have to like the resistance. You don't have to. You don't have to enjoy that resistance. I'm not saying like do the hard thing and love it.
Yeah, you
know,
definitely don't have to love it. You just have to show up.
Exactly. And just observe like this is uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
Recognize that.
But don't grasp onto the idea that it's uncomfortable, because that will also change, because eventually the hard thing just becomes a little less daunting, a little less difficult as well.
And maybe one day it becomes easy. Like I remember, for example, like with Kapalabhati, which is like the pumping of the belly. I remember the first few times I did Kapalabhati and I was just like, I couldn't even do 10 rounds. And then it was like, oh, I could get to a minute, but then like my belly was just like burning.
Yep.
And like I haven't felt resistance in Kapalabhati in years.
Yeah.
Like my belly doesn't feel that gripping anymore. It just happens.
Yeah.
But it's because I kind of like sat with the discomfort, kept moving into the discomfort without overdoing it. Like always work within your capacity, but if you meet the edge of your capacity, the next time you find that edge, you'll find that it's a little bit further along. All right. And then so what about like in daily life? How's Tapas going to show up for us? I think there's one really obvious one.
You tell me the obvious one then.
The obvious one is just follow through on your commitments.
Yes, of course.
Like if you say you're going to do something,
Yeah.
just do it. And I think it's like sometimes when you struggle with following through on your commitments, just like have someone to hold you accountable. Tell someone what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Because I think it's harder not to do something if you've told someone you're going to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you feel the guilt of not doing it. And it's like that doesn't always have to be like, oh, I told Lina I was going to bring a coffee for her tomorrow morning, so I better bring her a coffee. But it's like tell someone that you are going to spend the next year doing yoga practice every day. And so that the next time you see them, they can be like, how's the year of yoga going for you?
Yeah.
And like if you want to make a big life change, I remember for me it was like when I became a vegetarian, I told my family, like, don't cook me meat. I'm not going to eat meat anymore. And like every now and then they'll like sometimes they'll like tempt me of just like, are you sure you don't want to just have some of this fish?
Do you remember this really delicious dish that I used to make for you?
But they say it from the lens of like, I know you don't eat meat.
Yes.
And so it's like they subtly hold you accountable even though they're tempting you.
Yes.
And then at the same time, it's like if you do something that goes counter to what you said, they'll be like, hey, but I thought you said you don't eat meat.
Yeah.
Why are you eating this? And it's like by telling people you actually get to be held accountable. Yeah. Okay, what else in daily life? What else have we got here?
Staying present with whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't let the mind wander off. And then when you do notice your mind wander off into another task, especially when you're at home and you're, say, trying to clean your room, and then you find something that you haven't seen in a little while, and all of a sudden maybe it's a hat, you're like looking in the mirror trying the hat on. No, just go back to cleaning your room. Again, without getting frustrated at yourself, but just put the hat down, put it away, and start cleaning your room again.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like, hold yourself accountable to that presence.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, I think when we look at like a master of yoga or like a sage, it's like that's the marker of someone like that, someone that's fully realized. It's like there's a presence in everything that they do. There's an intention behind everything that they do. Everything that they're doing is because they want to be doing that thing.
Yeah.
And they do it fully.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're here doing this podcast. I'm not thinking about the coffee that I want.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time. Okay. And so then it's like by keeping that tapas within us at all times, that tapas, that inner heat, like refines the mind to become more clear. Yeah. And we can see things less from like our emotions and how we feel about them. And we see them more from that lens of clarity. And like we have reasoning behind why we're doing it, and that's why we're doing it no matter how we feel about it.
We look at it from the bigger picture rather than in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so a little reflection for you. Where in your life are you avoiding discomfort? Instead of just staying with it? Like what are the things that you avoid in your life? And I think if we can seek those things out, then we know what we have to lean into. And then from the yoga context, like what do you avoid in your yoga practice? And really, really inspect, why are you avoiding that thing? Is it just a story that you've told yourself that's causing you to avoid it? Like I speak to so many people that are like, oh, I don't do asana anymore. I just do meditation. And my first thing is like, why? And then they'll tell me a story about how asana isn't yoga and I'm trying to just be more yogic. And it's just like, you're avoiding asana at this point because of the story that you're telling yourself, right? Because it's actually difficult to maintain that practice over a long period of time. Okay. And then, like what changes do you see when you embrace that resistance as a part of your practice instead of an obstacle to your practice? Like when you embrace that discomfort, like what's going to change for you? Go home, do something difficult when you practice yoga next, and write a comment on this episode. Like what did you notice when you just embraced the change? Because I think for a lot of us, it's just like, it's that mental resistance. And it's like the mental structure of like, I don't want to do that uncomfortable thing. And when you can make that mental shift, it's just like, oh, the uncomfortable thing, it actually wasn't that bad. So go and do something uncomfortable. Do the part of your yoga practice that you hate the most. Do a whole practice focused around that one thing with the intention to embrace the resistance. Let me know how it goes for you.
Yeah. And if you really love asana, stay in shavasana for longer than you usually would.
Yeah, or sit for pranayama for 20 minutes. Or just hold one asana for 10 minutes and then do your shavasana. See what that resistance feels like for you. Alrighty, so that's the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. Just know that we do this all on our own. There is no producer. Lina's in the next room doing our editing. But there's no one outside of OmSom that helps us with this. We don't have any advertisers. It's just us, the team. There's 5 of us that work on this podcast now. And we all pay ourselves based on the kindness of our listeners, people who actually come and decide to join us for practice. So if you didn't know, we have a yoga studio. It's in Berwick in Melbourne, in Australia. So if you live locally, come down to the studio, come and practice with us. And if not, then go and check out our website, because we've got stuff going on all the time. We've got online practices. We've got an online community that helps people to stay accountable to their practice. It's called Sadhana Sangha. I've got some online trainings. There's a 100-hour Hatha training. There's a 50-hour Yin training. And we also do stuff internationally. Lina and I are going to be going to Sri Lanka this year, running a retreat. We've got our 200-hour happening in Sri Lanka, yoga teacher training, and then I've got a 300-hour program happening this year as well. So head over to our website, www.omsom.yoga. That's omsom.yoga. Check out what we've got happening. We would love to connect with you. Thanks for listening. Hariom.